All America, all the time. Sit down, buckle up, and get ready for The Dan Bongino Show.
All right, coming out hot today. First, thank you to Jean Farias in the chat right before the show talking about our 100 air squats a day drill. She's like, hey, man, I'm getting in like 10 air squats an hour. I'm telling you, listen, as long as you can do, you know, bad knees, bad heart, you're not going to have a heart attack, whatever, check with your doctor, do all that stuff, okay? I'm certainly not your doctor. However, wouldn't you agree, Guy? It changed your life, I'm telling you. If you can squeeze in 100 air squats a day, it'll change your life. Thank me later. I have never, ever felt better. I mean, I do it in addition to working out, but even if you don't. So thank you, Jean Farias. I get in here early, like 15 minutes earlier. So I like to read the chat. And then I come in at 9 o'clock too to read the chat as well. So that's why you see me bouncing in and out. Couple things. Yesterday, ladies and gentlemen, probably the most instructional television debate on Fox I've seen in a long time. I actually called, this is a true story. I wanted to take my my youngest daughter to the movies yesterday. So I was in a mad rush. I had a couple phone calls I had to make. I didn't get home till about 2 or 3. The movie's at 4. I'm in a mad rush. I like jump right in the shower, and I have this little like TV in it. It's a small one, but you can hear everything. And I see this debate on Fox between this clown socialist on Martha McCallum's show and this Venezuelan refugee who's a conservative. It is one of the best television debates I have ever seen to put an accent and kick you in the nads if you're still naive about the unholy alliance. What's the unholy alliance? Hat tip David Horowitz. His book is titled that. It is this Wonder Twins, like, remember the Wonder Twins? Activate. They would like, these two Wonder Twins would touch the rings together and activate. The unholy alliance are the communist libs and the Islamo-fanatic terrorists. They're in it together. This clip, you will see this lady, this socialist clown, basically give you the unholy alliance in one debate. It went on 15 minutes. I was riveted. I was like this, you know, like the Psycho movie peeking outside the shower. I was like, I couldn't stop listening to this debate. I've got that. I've got how to recognize an op too. Folks, the op is happening right now. Did you see the tweet from Tucker about tonight's show? Oh my gosh, the great betrayal by Trump. We're moving on. No, you're moving on. No one's moving on. Do you see the op? It's right in front of your eyes. I'm going to show you the footprints so you don't get deceived by these ops again. We got a lot to go over. Don't miss today's show. Banger of a show. 250 years of freedom, liberty, and kicking ass. Paula put together this shirt for you if you want it. Store.bongino.com. That's her, you know, she loves the shirts. I know the audience loves them too. Folks, healthcare shouldn't be this complicated. All Family Pharmacy, that's who I use. They make it really easy to find medications you need. Visit allfamilypharmacy.com/Bongino. Use code Bongino10 to save 10%. Prescription provided if appropriate. I use All Family Pharmacy. Love them. Today's show also brought to you by American Financing. If you're a homeowner, you probably thought to yourself, should I call American Financing to refinance and pay off this credit card debt? Then you second guess yourself because of that low mortgage rate you currently have. Well, check this out. That low rate, it's not saving you if you're drowning in credit card interest at 25% or more. It's just not. That's math no one wants to face, but it's costing you thousands of dollars. Here's the truth. If you're only making minimum payments, the debt is going to follow you for years. That's why our listeners are calling American Financing, because they're saving customers an average of $800 a month by using their equity to finally break free from credit card debt. You owe it to your family to see what's possible. No upfront fees, no pressure. It costs you nothing to find out what you could save every month. And if you start today, you may be able to delay 2 mortgage payments too. How about that? Call American Financing, 888-994-7660. That's 888-994-7660. Or visit AmericanFinancing.net/Bongino. AmericanFinancing.net/Bongino. Check them out. All right, fellas, let's go. Also, I failed to mention, forgive me, in the beginning of the show, we came out hot, and I even missed this one. The Michigan United States Senate race, Democrat primary, it looks like Abdul al-Sayed, who is an unholy alliance Islamo-fascist and a communist at the same time. He's got the two tools in the toolkit. won the primary by a sliver last night. There's the book, by the way. Thanks, Guy. Unholy Alliance by David Horowitz. You should pick it up. Radical Islam and the American Left. They love each other. They're like married. They're like Fat Barney. Sharing is care. They love it because they all have one goal: destroying the constitutional republic, freedom and liberty, because both of them have the goal of tyranny. The communists have a goal of political tyranny. The Islamo-fascists believe in religious tyranny. But notice the latter part of both of those two words. Tyranny. They both believe in tyranny. They've got to get your ass out of the way because you believe in freedom and liberty and anti-tyranny. You have to go. And now you see Folex MAGA supporting both sides, supporting the commies, Trump, the great betrayal. And you see them supporting the Islamo-fanatics too. Oh, yeah. The terrorists, they really aren't that. I mean, come on, it's really Hamas, a political organization. Really? That's interesting. It's good to know that. I bet you should tell them as they're chopping off heads. Guy, you think that's an appropriate way to do politics, decapitation and head cutting? No, Guy says not a fan. Guy doesn't like that. Wouldn't you think a better way would be just to get votes? Like do an election like bumper stickers, vote for Hamas, rather than like sawing heads off? Guy's right. Guy is actually correct. The sawing of heads off is actually a tyrannical, terroristic, but efficient way to get power because no one wants their head cut off. But it's probably not the best way to get votes. Try bumper stickers, palm cards, vote for Hamas. Oh, we'll saw your head off. You're right. It's a really effective way to get power. I don't know how democratic it is. It's so funny. I can't believe these idiots, how they're falling for this. Really? Okay. This is the best TV debate I've seen in a long time. Let me get this. This first clip. It's about 2 minutes or so, which is a little long for our show. We try to keep it within a minute and a half. I don't know why I keep telling you that, but I always got to give you the behind the scenes, even when it's unnecessary. I'm going to split screen this so you can see my reaction to this because I'm just stunned by this. Notice first, I'm going to play 2 clips from the Martha MacCallum debate. It is a socialist versus a Venezuelan refugee who's a conservative, who just dominates the debate. He does an amazing job. The woman is the socialist, okay? Martha MacCallum's hosting. The 2 points of the unholy alliance. In order to enter the unholy alliance, okay, you just have to believe in 2 things. You have to believe in economic and political tyranny, i.e. communism, where the government controls all of the economy and you don't get to pick the winner, like Stalin and Putin. They also believe in anyone that believes in killing the Jews because they're Islamo fanatics too. Here's clip 1 where she advocates the communist principle that you're not entitled to be a property owner. Notice how she uses, though, the lingo. She's got to say landlords because she knows that term doesn't poll. Well, landlord, nobody wants landlord. I would assume a landlord. What she's really describing is anyone who owns a home, i.e. a homeowner. That's you. And how you're not entitled to a return on your property. I wonder how this is going to play. Check this first part out.
Who I interviewed, he is with the New York DSA, and here's what he said about the right to a profit.
Landlords in New York have been making a 12% return on their investment on average.
How much should they make? What's fair for the landlord to make if you don't like 12?
They're complaining that 12 is not enough. And we don't think that anyone should have a constitutional right to double-digit returns on their investment. That's why we've implemented.
No one should have a right to a double-digit return.
You only have a right to property if you lose money.
No one has a right. That's not. No.
What are you talking about?
No one's in that. That's not in the Constitution.
All right, Francis, let's start with you. Your reaction to that. Do people have a right to make a profit? And is there a lid on how much you're allowed to make as a profit under your dream of a socialist America?
You know, I think you're kind of looking at it the opposite way that I would look at it. I think that people have a right to have, or should have a right to have a safe place to live, to not be living on the streets in squalor. I think when we are seeing that right is being eroded, then that's when we have a problem. And I think that's the challenge that democratic socialist politics is trying to address, is that these rights to a healthy life and to a safe life and to a thriving life are being attacked.
Right. So listen, first. 2 points here. First point, I'm hearing from a very good source who understands the swamp better than anyone that the Democrats up on the Hill and the establishment Democrat Party, take this check to the bank, cash it, spend this freaking money. The Democrat establishment is freaking the out about these socialists going on Fox and other television networks and saying stupid shit. They are freaking out. They just want them to shut up, and they're afraid to do anything on email or text, like say to the DSA people, stay off TV, because they know the DSA people are crazy and they'll just put the text out there. That's number one. Number two, I want you to notice how she's actually a very skilled debater. This woman's not stupid. She's conducting an op on you. It's a psychological operation to get you to believe things that are against your own interests. Most of you, many of you out there own some form of private property, if not all of you, a computer, a home, a car. The Democrat socialists don't believe in any private property. They believe the government should own everything. So they use fancy words and what they do is they do a 180 reversal to distract you. So instead of property owners, she says landlords, knowing you'll think it only means some billion-dollar company that owns a dilapidated apartment building. It means you. She's talking about you. Second, notice they never answer the question. This will come up in part 2 of this when I discuss the op, recognizing the op. One of the first tools of an op is to always distract you and never answer the question. Notice when she's asked about, hey man, listen, well, what return do they have a right to, a homeowner? So if a homeowner's house appreciates 10%, 5% a year, the homeowner has no rights to that? Even if they want to rent the home, Airbnb, they have no rights to that? Who does have the right to it? She goes, let's talk about everyone else who has a right to safe and clean housing. Notice the language. You're like, when you hear that, guys, am I right? When you hear that, you're like, if you don't know what she's talking about, you're like, Andy's like, yeah, it sounds pretty good. Like, folks, you have to tell people the hard truth. When you create a air quote small r right, like, well, I have the right to a big, beautiful home. Sounds great. But you confer an obligation on someone else that's not earned. I don't need to forget any kind of fancy language here. It's very simple to explain. If you have a right to whatever home you want, who gets to determine what a nice home is? Well, of course, the people are going to want, I want a 30,000 square foot home. So does that mean a middle class guy working in a construction company has to build it for you for free? If you have a right to a doctor's time, does that mean you get to call him and demand he shows up to your house and you don't have to pay him? Do you understand why the Constitution is not a document about positive rights or things that should be given to you you're not willing to pay for? It's a document of rights you have, negative rights. This is what the government can't do to you. You have the right to assemble. They can't stop you. The right to bear arms. They can't stop you. You have the right to petition the government, to speak, to practice your own religion. There's no right to health care. And that idiot in the beginning of the Martha McCallum segment, there's no right to private property. No, there's a takings clause. Have you actually read these freaking dipshits? You have the second part of that part 1? All right, go ahead. I want you to listen to the rest of this.
Into a thriving life are being attacked.
Daniel, what's your response?
Francis, do you think that people in public housing are enjoying their rights to government housing very well, or do you think people in private housing live better?
There's no doubt in my mind that we need to improve the quality of public housing. I don't think that's controversial on the left or the right. I think there's broad bipartisan support for the idea that we need to improve the quality of public housing.
So you think we should live in public housing rather than private housing, that the government should own the places we live, right? Because you don't want private ownership, is my understanding, or double-digit returns.
What I want is for every single person to be ensured a fair access to housing. So the right to live in a safe and clean place. I don't think our current public housing does that. I don't think it achieves that.
Well, let me ask you this, Francis. But you're not in favor of allowing people to elevate themselves through capitalism, through, buying a business on the corner and seeing it thrive.
This is amazing. This guy just totally complete. Can we get this guy on the show? Can you try, if anyone knows this gentleman from the Manhattan Institute, I'd love to get this guy on the show. He just says to her, the government already has a housing project. Do you guys know what they're called? They're called freaking housing projects. They're actually called housing projects. You ever heard of the PJs? I grew up in Queens. They suck. Folks, do me a favor. On your phones. Homework assignment, Dan Bongino Show. We hate homework. Everyone hates homework. It's worth it. Look up Queensbridge projects. Just ask your favorite AI, is there a crime problem in the Queensbridge projects? That's the projects I lived near in Queens. Not in. I lived in Glendale. It wasn't the neighbors like in the Astoria area over in the 114 precinct. I remember as a cop because I worked there as a police cadet. Just look that up. Those are just, you want to look up other ones? Look up Red Hook, Brooklyn, the projects over there. The government already gives people housing, and it sucks. Nobody wants to live there. So she wants to confiscate everybody's housing so nobody can escape the shitty housing the government already does now. The richest country on earth can't even run a freaking housing project. They're literally called the projects. The PJs. There was a cartoon called The PJs about how shitty the projects are. Look it up, man. To these kids out there who are falling for this bullshit, dude, I'm serious, man. I'm not trying to be a dick about it. You gotta do your homework. I'm trying to help you. I'm not mad at you. I get this stuff sounds right. I have a right to a big house. I get that sounds great. I get it. I understand. I did not grow up with a silver spoon. I don't need any background bona fides. My dad's a plumber. He's a great guy. He was a building inspector. My mom worked in Finest Supermarket at 64th Place and Myrtle Avenue. I don't know what it is now. I grew up a middle or lower middle class kid. It was a great life. I love my parents. They were great. Busted their ass. My father got up 4 a.m. every day. You don't need your lectures about this shit. I came into money and success later in my life, and believe me, I thank God for it every day. It makes you crazy sometimes. The point is, these socialist lunatics like this crazy woman, they don't want you to have that pathway to success too. They want to make sure that there's a ceiling on your success. The only thing you can have is government-owned property. The only housing you can have is the PJs. And then they say to them, well, you have a right to. And then they simultaneously, they have the right to take your returns. So God forbid you buy a house in your 30s and the house appreciates 15%. So this asshole in the beginning is saying you only are entitled to 12%. Where they got that number, I don't know, 12%. So the other 3% goes to other people who didn't buy your house and work for it? This makes sense to you? Folks, if you want to know what the socialists believe, just freaking ask them. This is why I told you before. The Democrat establishment is freaking out over these interviews. They desperately want these. Fox, please. Welcome them on. Martha, greatest debate ever. Welcome these people back every day. I'm a contributor there. I don't manage the place. I love working there. I'm just begging you guys, have them on every show for 15 minutes. Because they just tell you things. Landlords, they mean you, property owners. You think this is only targeting landlords? Oh my gosh, man, you're getting suckered. Now, I told you there's only 2 requirements to be in this unholy alliance of people trying to destroy our beautiful, fantastic, lovely, incredibly free, prosperous constitutional republic. There's only 2 requirements. Number 1, you got to be a communist. You already saw that. No private property, government PJs for everyone. The second thing is you definitely have to hate the Jews. By the way, it's not just the Jews. In case you think, oh, I'm safe. Dan, why do you bring this up? Because I've told you, it's not about the Jews. Yeah, it is. You just said, no, it's not. The Jews are a subset of it. These same Islamophonatic, tyrannical nuts need to rid society of people in their way. They also hate evangelicals and Protestants too. Oh, well, I'm not one of those. You'll be next. Catholics, you're next. You don't think you're, what, you think you're safe because I attend a Latin mass. I'm saying you're not safe. The second you get in their way, they'll dispose of you too. Do we still have more from the first one? No, okay. Here's the second part. So she tells you about herself in the first part, no private properties. Here's the second part of the unholy alliance, by the tree of deceit here. Notice, she gets completely destroyed. We should never overthrow. The United States as an evil force in the world. They overthrow people who are democratically elected. We should never do that. But the democratically elected Israeli government, they should be arrested. That's lawyer. You see this? They just advertise it. Just listen to them. Remember the line. First they get the Saturday people, the Jews. Then they get the Sunday people. They openly talk about this. Here, check this out.
On the question of Venezuela, if socialism is innately so dangerous and so bad, why does the U.S. expend so much energy sanctioning these countries and overthrowing governments and attempting to, overturn the democratic will of the people?
Why is that, Daniel?
Well, Frances, I would think that you would support it because you say we should arrest Benjamin Netanyahu. So I imagine you support the arrest of Nicolas Maduro, who is in a Brooklyn jail after being lawfully indicted. Is that right?
I do not support the overthrow of democratically elected leaders anywhere in the country.
So Netanyahu, who is a democratically elected leader, is bad, but Maduro, who destroyed a nation with 8 million refugees, he's a good guy because he's a socialist, right?
They just listen to them talk. Folks, it's not my business how you feel about Netanyahu. He's a political leader subject to scrutiny like anyone else. I'm just telling you, the Islamo-radical nutbags don't give a shit about Netanyahu. Yes, they do. They don't. They just hate the Jews and you. And they want to kill you so they can engage in an Islamo-fanatic tyranny where you're their subjects. Anyone who gets in their way, including fellow Muslims, will be thrown on the scrap heap. They don't care. They don't care. No, that's not. Okay, I'll prove it to you right now. You guys know about the Uyghurs in China? You guys know what that is? The Uyghurs in China? The Uyghurs in China are Muslim. The Chinese Communist Party is engaged in a mass incarceration and extermination attempt against Muslims in China. You ever hear about it from the left? Ever? Why not? You hear about it from me. Because, folks, that would get in the way of the narrative. That would get in the way. What, you mean the socialists and the Islamo-fanatics will eventually turn on each other, including the communists turning on Muslims? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. But as long as they get you out of the way first, they figure they'll deal with that later. So they got to stick with convenient narratives. Arrest Netanyahu. He was elected. It doesn't matter. We just arrest just him. Just single him out. Why him? Why specifically him? You ever want to see the unholy alliance and the op being conducted on you to give up your private property, your voting rights, and to engage in religious extermination, Holocaust, pogroms, all of them, just learn to recognize the footprints. They're all over the place. The best way to recognize, I have this in all caps, just recognize the footprints. They will never answer a question. They will always engage in distraction. Matter of fact, sometimes they get so cocky, they actually advertise the op with foreign enemies to the United States who tell you in interviews, no way, yes, tell you in interviews how stupid you are if you're falling for this. You stay tuned. You think I'm kidding? I pull the best clips for you, man. I'm scouring the internet all day. This is my job right now. This is my job. I'm going to show you this clip next, where an unholy alliance member in the media, this sellout fraud traitor, Max Blumenthal, is interviewing an Iranian propaganda guy who basically says, you Americans are stupid, we're playing you. And they actually aired this thing. They actually aired it. Guy and I were stunned. We're like, is this real? Stay tuned, quick break. I'll show you what I mean. Hey, we recently used our friends at ZipRecruiter to fill 2 producer roles on my team. We hit the lottery. Andy, Josh, great guys. Been here for a while. They were perfect candidates. And as you all hear me talk about, they go above and beyond every day for me and the show in general. It's been fantastic. We really like having a great team here. The same idea applies when you're hiring too. Great candidates can also go the extra step and tell you why they're interested in your job on ZipRecruiter, helping them stand out from the rest of the crowd. And right now you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/Bongino. ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology finds qualified candidates quickly. And ZipRecruiter has a new feature that shows you the most interested qualified candidates first, so you meet the right people faster. Candidates can even tell you in their own words why they're interested in your role. Try ZipRecruiter and meet great candidates who will go the extra step for your job. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Try it for free today at ZipRecruiter.com/Bongino. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Bongino. ZipRecruiter. Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Thanks, ZipRecruiter. Today's show also brought to you by Helix Sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, what's the greatest life hack of all? Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Answer, sleep. Good sleep. You miss good sleep, forget it. The rest of it falls apart. I used to wake up tired. I was kind of burnt out a little bit in the mornings, but it turns out my mattress is a big part of the problem. So we got rid of it a while ago and went with Helix. It's like our second one now. Ever since I switched to the Helix Midnight Luxe mattress, I love it. The difference has been amazing. I fall asleep faster, stay asleep longer. I wake up feeling much more rested. You see the energy on the show. That's why. One thing I really appreciate is how simple Helix, Helix, makes the process. I took their quick sleep quiz. They matched me with a mattress tailored to my specific sleep preferences. The support feels personalized. The cooling technology has been a game changer for me, especially on warmer nights. I'm one of those hot sleepers. Since making the switch, I've noticed fewer interruptions throughout the night and a lot more energy during the day. It's one of those upgrades that impacts your daily life more than you expect. And with Helix's 120-night sleep trial and limited lifetime warranty, you can try it out now knowing you have plenty of time to make sure it's the right fit. Now Helix is offering 20% off site-wide. So go to helixsleep.com/Dan, Helix, for 20% off site-wide. Big savings. That's helixsleep.com/Dan for 20% off site-wide. Make the change today. helixsleep.com/Dan. Thank you, Helix. We appreciate it. Okay, getting back to the show. You got to recognize the ops. You are the Paul and Paulette Reveres out there. The op is coming. The op is coming. You got to sound the alarm, ring a bell, sound the sirens. After last night's victory of Islamo-fascist Abdul El-Sayed in Michigan, ladies and gentlemen, there's no more sirens to ring. The battle's here right now. The fight for the future of your kids' country and yours for this beautiful republic we have is ongoing right now. It's not tomorrow. It's not next week. It's now. Remember that Eckhart Tolle book, The Power of Now? You're in the now. If tomorrow hasn't happened yet, the past is gone. You got to fight today. Our country's at stake. This is not a fight with the old, Harry Truman, Bill Clinton, moderate movement. This is not that. This is a fight with tyrannical nutbags trying to institute communism and Islamo-fanaticism. And I'm not going to stop talking about it. Here's a communist, Max Blumenthal, who pretends to be a reporter. Here's an interview with an Iranian agitation propaganda guy, basically telling him how they use the American media to manipulate the American people. This was actually I can't believe they didn't bury this. Folks, do not fall prey to this stuff. You will partake in the destruction of the most powerful, economically powerful country, militarily powerful country in the history of Earth. Watch this. This is one of my dad used to say, read it and weep, listen and weep. Check this out.
You have tapped into the American psyche and you have kind of shattered the MAGA psyche from Iran.
This is what happens. I think, to speak a bit more politically, this is the new platform order. Just as a political order exists among governing powers, a political order also exists on platforms, and we can't deny it. But I think from now on, we can talk about what to do to change this order. I think knowing the Americans, it's not a difficult thing. This is how we know the Americans. I think we reverse engineer the operations I want to carry out against us. Why? Because they carry out media operations against us based on their own assumptions. When we reverse engineer the media operations and, so to speak, try to see what concepts they use to attack us, we can understand that their laboratory subject, the case study is the American audience, and we use that very same thing against them.
Folks, if you want to know why the Islamo-fanatics and the commies are doing what they're doing, just ask them. Every media appearance is a freaking confession. Every one. They can't shut up. You may say to yourself, like, why do these DSA people, the socialists, and people like Blumenthal and Iranian propaganda people who, the Death to America folks, why do they do these interviews? Folks, I'm going to give you a very simple answer. It is not complex. Ego. They can't shut up about their plan because they're proud of it. It reminds me of a video I'm going to play later in the show. Stay tuned for it. You see this, you may think they're unrelated. They're related, believe me. Maybe not in Endgame, but they're related in the psychology behind why these people advertise their stupidity. There's this Jonah Hill, the actor video, he used to be a chunky guy, and I don't know what he was in, but whatever. He was in Wolf of Wall Street, I think. There's a video of him talking about Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I was going to kick people's asses and stuff. This is a thing with a lot of people I find who do a very specific exercise routine. They follow a specific diet. People who get into Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, I love it, been doing it 20 years. They've got to talk about it because they're proud of it. Now, that's why I'm not too mad at the guy for doing it. This is the DSA people. They're proud of it. They want to advertise. They think you're a sucker and going to go along. This Blumenthal guy is like letting this Iranian guy talk about how you Americans are so stupid. We reverse engineer your media against you. And they're like, yes, this is awesome. Let's air this with no air of regret at all. I said in the beginning of the show, the op is right in front of you. That's the title of the show for a reason. The op is right in front of you. The Folex MAGA people are doing the same thing. The great betrayal. MAGA's finished. The New York Times, MAGA media is done. They only 50,000 people show up to watch a show at 10 o'clock in the morning on Rumble, which isn't even as big as you. It's done. It's finished. It's the same demoralization op. They're proud of it. They're not hiding it. It's just unbelievable that some sane people are going along with this bullshit. They think you're stupid. Here's one of the other footprints of an op. Footprint number one is them just telling you about the op. Actually telling you, here's the op, you're stupid. I nothing more I can tell you. DSA video, Iranian guy, they told you the op. Don't overthrow democratic elected, except if they're in Israel. Landlords are the worst. What do you want to do? I want to cap their return. They tell you the op, bro. The other thing they use is distraction and manipulation. When they're asked very simple questions, like, hey, man, you sound kind of crazy. Do you support canceling Thanksgiving? This is an actual question. CNN's Caitlin Collins, who I'm not a huge fan of, obviously, but she asks this socialist communist candidate for governor in Wisconsin, of all places, Wisconsin, not a deep blue state, tinge of blue, but not deep blue. She asks Francesca Hong, hey, did you tweet a while ago something about canceling Thanksgiving? Obviously a freaking insane idea. I want you to listen to the answer, or should I say non-answer and the total distraction. It's a simple question. Do you want to cancel Thanksgiving or not? No, I don't. She can't do it, bro. She can't do it. Check this out.
One thing that they brought up as well was a post from you in 2021 where you said Americans should cancel Thanksgiving, should have done this in 1621. The post has been deleted. Republicans have been highlighting it. Do you still believe that Thanksgiving should be canceled?
I'm a chef, and one of the first meals that I made that was for the community when I was 16 was a Thanksgiving meal. You know, I always think my hospitality background in owning a restaurant for 7-8 years, that bringing folks around the table to share conversation and build community is always a good thing. But Thanksgiving is also a time that's incredibly painful for many people in our communities. And so I think I wanted to make sure that people understood that there are multiple views, but views can evolve. And the position that I'm running for right now, and I think my background as a chef, will actually help me become a better governor that's able to bring more people to the table.
They can't answer a simple freaking question. She said, yeah, good point, but she's a chef, folks. Who gives a shit if you're a chef? Who cares? Nobody cares. Nobody cares you're a chef. They care about the question. Like, are you freaking crazy enough to cancel the great American holiday of Thanksgiving? Motley's in the chat. This is worth mockery. Extreme mockery. Alinsky's rules ridicules a powerful weapon. There's no easy comeback for it. This woman deserves to be laughed at, mocked. Oh, that's not moral. You know what's not moral? Gulags, Holocausts, and concentration camps, which, believe me, these people would put you in a heartbeat. Motley's. I see it. I see it in the chat. Mock these idiots. Don't give me the immoral lecture. You know what's immoral? Like I said, pogroms, holocausts, the killing and torture and imprisonment of millions of people due to their religion or skin color. That's immoral. Bro. Folks, the distraction mechanism only works if you don't have a vehicle, by the way, to fight back. Because you cannot answer the question all you want. But when shows like this come out and show you not answering the question, the distraction didn't work because nobody's distracted because I'm bringing attention back to the question, correct? Andy, right? Logic sound? He's like doing the Spock. Your logic is sound, Captain. It is. That's why I drive the liberals crazy. You've been here, 6 months, Andy. Does anybody drive the libs crazier than me? No, nobody. Nobody drives the liberals crazy. The liberal media is obsessed with me. I told you. Stuart Thompson, Stewie. The guy loves me. He can't stop writing. It's like he sits up at night with, remember the Billy Madison people to kill list? You see that, the Steve Buscemi? See, if you missed it, it's a classic. Dan Bongino. These people are obsessed with me. They will write about anything, even in one of the biggest self-owns in Huffington Post history, which ironically they call a self-own. They will do anything just because my name generates a click, because I drive liberals nuts, because I won't stop highlighting them refusing to answer the question, and I won't stop highlighting them talking about communism in the country. I drive them nuts. And the other thing too is I defend people's religious freedom. Jews, Protestants, evangelicals. You can't have that either. So I'm definitely in two of their shit buckets that they hate. I'm in both of them. They hate my guts. So I go on Hannity the other night. I'm going to play the whole clip. But I just eviscerated the whole public school system because it's a mess. We can't educate a kid in the wealthiest country on earth. We just can't do it. And yet the Democrat socialists want more government, as if anything government does works. What is government? Where's the biggest government footprint in our economy? Healthcare and education. That's all the Democrats complain about. And nobody finds this weird. This is their big thing. Government is great. What does government do the most? They intervene in healthcare and education. The largest portion of economic interference by the government by far is healthcare and education. And it's what they complain about the most. It's like producing a product like the Pet Rock and your Joey Bag of Donuts Pet Rock company, and all you do is bitch about how people are stupid for buying your Pet Rock. Like, nobody finds that weird. This is your product, education and healthcare. The government's tentacles are everywhere. And all you do is bitch on how bad it sucks. We need more money. Of course, I've been highlighting this for years. And the Huffington Post didn't like it. They didn't like it. What's this guy's name? Blake or Blanche? Does he go by Blanche? Wait, put his show, and then go back to this. Why do they always look like this, by the way? Why? What's with the pose, too? Andy brought up a great point. Like, who took this shot and said that was a good idea? Why do they always look like It's good. It's right. It's a good point, Andy. The backdrop is definitely. It pops like the blue eyes or whatever. They wrote this article about the hit when I made the point that these guys, everything they do in government sucks. Epic fail. Dan Bongino's Fox News rant quickly turns into a devastating cell phone. Like the cell phone, not cell phone, like SELF own. And I thought it did. And I thought, why would Ben Blanche striking a pose like Madonna? Why would Ben Blanche want to make us stop talking about the failure of his big government heroes to even educate kids in the country? So I thought, well, now let's talk about it again. Let's talk about it even more. Don't F with us, Benny. Oh, we have a far bigger audience than you'll ever have. I know you're obsessed with me. You'd probably show up at my office if we didn't have security. But we're going to make this one hurt. So Andy was kind enough to put together a little montage of headlines about the failure of the public school systems I highlighted, because apparently Ben Blanche thinks we made that up. Chicago public schools blow millions on travel expenses. Why students can't read at grade level. Socialism, Andy, at its finest. By the way, how long did it take you to put this together? Less than 5 minutes? Wait, way too quick. I said, can you just pick a few headlines? He was done like that. High school student exposes classmates' abysmal reading skills as they struggle with words like silhouette and extraordinary. What did they pronounce it? Silhouette? That's like that Key and Peele say, go see Principal Oshag Hennessy. 23 Baltimore schools with 0 students proficient in math, yet Maryland ranks number 2 in new study. Oh my gosh. This is Glenn Blanche. He don't want you to talk about this. God forbid. So 10 people read the most these headlines he's ever going to get, and when I give them out. Baltimore scores improved, but just 13% of students are proficient in math. 13. U.S. students performing worse in school than 10 years ago. ABC News. Don't talk about this on the air. Now we're going to talk about it more, just to stick it to Blanche. Staggering, 900 New York City public schools failing students amid grade inflation and lax accountability. New York City public schools are the nation's least efficient. Incredible. So Ben Blanche is angry. He's like, well, Dan went in the FBI. Oh, we did. We did. And unlike Ben Blanche's socialist public school model, which sucks major moose, here's our record. Just numbers. It only took us a year, by the way. Went there for the year, and here's what we did. 20% drop in nationwide murder rate, 45,000 violent crime rates, up 184%. 2,450 gang and criminal enterprises disrupted, up 322%. 2,600 kilos of fentanyl seized, up 56%. 6,940 child victims located, up 144%. 2,900 child predators and human traffickers arrested, up 70%. 111 counterintelligence arrests, that's up 53%. 849 individuals disrupted from conducting terror attacks, a 150% an increase in cyber-related indictments, and 8 of the FBI's 10 most wanted fugitive captured. I'm just throwing it out. I'm just throwing it out there. So Ben Blanche doesn't want us talking about his socialist model of public education when they can't even educate a kid to freaking read. And he's a little green with envy. Background, you see how I did that? I didn't even then. He's a little green with envy, including his background and the pose. He's a little green with envy that it only took us a year to clean the mess up at the FBI. Only a year. That was it. It's taken them 50 years to not be able to educate a kid despite hundreds of billions of dollars spent. But Ben Blanche striking the pose just like Madonna. Is he going to do this too? Remember the Vogue thing? Why do they always look like this? Those can't be, that's he's faking that. He's probably got like brown eyes or something. I'll compare records any day, Blanche. Don't toy with us, son. It never ends well. That's the most attention you'll ever get, including from your mama. Your mama probably disavowed you a long time ago, Blanche. Don't mess with us. You want to keep it going? We'll go all week We'll go all year. Remember the cat lady when she decided it was a good idea to mess with us? Whatever happened to her? Nobody knows. She disappeared. It's never a good idea. We always win every time. You do. I know. Haley's got it on the set. The crazy cat lady thing. It never ends well because we always win every time. Sorry. I know that pisses off the doomers, grifters, losers, Folex Magnet. We always win. We always win because you can't argue what I just said. We actually produced results. You produce a bunch of kids who can't read despite spending hundreds of billions of dollars. Crazy. Folks, the distractions are over and over and over again. Decades of failure versus 1 year of success, and they just don't want. They want you to shut up. We're just going to keep talking louder. I'll show you what I mean, too. Another complete tool bag who thought hitting us, oh, Epstein, mentioned the Epstein thing, as if I wasn't the one championing. You could just look this up, transparency in the case. They do this all day. It's just a distraction. They never gave a shit about this. When we were trying to get that case out there, we had 1,000 people assigned to the whole. I never heard from any of these losers. So that big Q-tip zero, Chris Cuomo, who, by the way, I thought about this yesterday. Did you guys, talking about Epstein, you realize his brother, Cuomo's brother, worked in the Bill Clinton administration. And were there some ties at Clinton? Remember that? Then what does he know? Has anyone questioned him about it? It's amazing how the PR guy and all these people, they all opened their mouths. They did nothing to get anything out on the case at all. And it's nothing more than a distraction. They don't care. This is their new talking point. It's all they have. Don't talk about the border, crime, the economy, manufacturing exploding. Don't talk about any of that. It's nothing more than a distraction for them. Here's Cuomo getting just completely owned on his own show by Michael Knowles, who's got to have an IQ 50 points higher than this dipshit. Cuomo's like, I think Elon Musk rigged an election. Really? What, by donating money? You mean like Soros and all these other lefties, Michael Bloomberg and others? It's not illegal to donate money. But you can do ban people from speaking in a political race because they want to support a cause? Here's Cuomo getting wrecked by Knowles and bringing up, this is watch the distraction. When he loses the debate, well, Teslas suck. They do? Okay, check this out.
But this guy just rigged the elections. He worked the immigration system. That's why he got through it. Because he fraudulently got his way through.
Chris, how did he rig the election?
You don't hear what the
I thought we're not election deniers.
Wisconsin election. So the Wisconsin election board, you don't believe them?
Yeah, I haven't seen any federal cases against Elon Musk for election rigging.
Oh, so if it's not a federal case, it didn't happen?
Below Mike Bloomberg's, below Tom Steyer's, both Democrat donors. So Elon Musk has donated a lot to elections. That's great. But don't forget this idea that Elon Musk has made money on politics. Elon Musk got decimated in his businesses because he got involved with Doge in the campaign. The National Bureau of Economic Research says that Tesla sales were down by 83% because he got involved. That was tens of billions of dollars. We know that his contribution to preserve free speech. He lost 75% on that.
It's also a crappy car.
He's lost a lot of money in politics.
It's also a crappy car. I had one. Okay, I think that's part of what's hurting Tesla also.
I can't help but notice a lot of people loved buying those cars until he got into politics.
Folks, recognize the op when you see it. Epstein, and by the way, I'm telling anyone running for president in 2028, these same talking points that are total, complete distractions, they're meant to distract you from everything. That is the op. He gets smoked in the debate because Knowles is infinitely smarter than him. Teslas suck. So again, folks, I don't own a Tesla. I have to have an armored car because it's so many freaking crazies out there because the left tells people bullshit. And lunatics are like trying to kill us. I wish I was joking. Whatever, it doesn't matter. So I went to ChatGPT. I don't even want to go to Grok because you'd be like, oh, well, Grok, that's Elon's thing. I just asked a simple question. Chris Cuomo gets owned in a debate and said, oh, Teslas suck. I own one. I said, give me the statistics on Tesla motor vehicle satisfaction amongst its customers. Pretty simple question, right? Quote, Tesla owners are among the most satisfied. Did I say most satisfied? I thought Chris Cuomo said they suck. Well, it's Andy, I can read. It's the most satisfied vehicle owners in the auto industry, even though Tesla's historically received mixed marks for build quality, service experience, and reliability. Weird. It seems like they're really satisfied. ChatGPT is like a competitor to Grok too. You'd think if they built in the algorithm, they'd be like, just tell people Tesla sucks. Folks, learn to recognize the op. There's always a distraction. There's always some bullshit. There's always a lie. You know, it's funny how I talk to people and they go, well, what about this thing that I heard in the media? I'll be like, well, did you just look it up? Like that Helen Lewis dipshit at the Atlantic? Well, they didn't think the Epstein case was a big deal. It literally says the opposite if you just put those exact words in the internet. You see how this is nothing more than everyone in the Trump administration, as the op goes forward and they try to run their own splinter 2028 candidate to break apart the Republican Party in conjunction with the Islamo-fanatics and commies. I know that you all think you're safe, some of you. Some are recognizing it now. I promise you're not. Remember, I've seen it. It doesn't matter what's out there. It matters is what they can make people think in the op. Folks, I'm going to skip ahead a little bit, that Kalshi thing, if you could. I'm growing a little bit concerned about the midterms, and I think you should be too. There's no time for panic right now, but the doomers and the grifters and the, Trump, the Epstein class people going on, they're doing this they never gave a shit about this case before. I did. They didn't. They didn't care. All of this stuff is meant to demoralize you. It is the op. They want to make sure you're so pissed off you don't vote. Please trust me. I've been with you 10 years, okay? I took a massive pay cut to go in that year and clean the place up. They didn't do shit. They sit on the sidelines, and all they do is complain and bitch and moan. Yes, there are problems to fix. There are always problems to fix. But all they talk about is the doom and gloom. Folks, I'm a little worried. Kalshi Politics had, Kalshi's they are a sponsor. They did not pay for this ad, but this is just, I follow their account on Twitter. Texas Senate winner odds right now. Remember, this is people betting their own money. So I actually put more weight into Kalshi and, Polymarket and others than I do polls, because it's people's own money. Ken Paxton's up, but I'm not sure that's a comfortable enough lead for me at this point. I'm just bringing up Texas because, folks, I know people will say, oh, they always say they're going to win Texas and they never do, the Democrats. Folks, the Democrats said the same thing about Pennsylvania. Oh, the Republicans always say they're going to win Pennsylvania. Don't even worry. What happened? Trump won Pennsylvania. The time to get, I just can't have you in Texas or elsewhere. I can't have you thinking like, oh, don't worry, it's Texas. Like, we're just going to win in a landslide. I can't have it. I can't have it. We're not going to win in a landslide if you don't show up. Again, that's a comfortable enough lead, but not comfortable enough for me. Don't let them demoralize you. Get out and vote, understanding this. Even to the establishment Republicans who don't really like Donald Trump, many of you, can we at least agree? You love Reagan, right? I love Reagan. Reagan was right. You're never going to get in politics in this diverse kind. I don't mean DEI diverse, but diverse in that you got farmers, you got pilots. They all have different interests. No one's going to agree on everything ever. If we can get 60 to 80%, we win, and then we come back for the other 20 or 40 later. You cannot sit out this election. We will get smoked if you do. And if we lose Texas, ladies and gentlemen, it's going to be a bad night. Don't panic. There's no room for panic here, but we cannot let these people win. When I say these people, by the way, I'm talking about people like this. Was this libs of TikTok? Folks, you let these people win because you're demoralized. I don't like that. I'm not crazy about tariffs. I'll be honest with you. There's some things that's fine. The president doesn't demand loyalty on every single issue. Anyone who tells you that's bullshit. Yeah, he's passionate about certain things. However, I think he's done an amazing job, and the results speak for themselves. From the border to law enforcement to the economy to manufacturing, he's done a great job. There is no reason to be demoralized and not show up. If you don't show up and we lose to these socialists, they are coming for your kids. How do we know? What did I tell you guys before? And you in the audience. Because they're telling you they're coming for your kids. Here is this high tops, basically LGBT2A, QIA spirit, whatever the hell, a queer theory advocate, talking about how they want to catch your kids early. That's the exact words. You want to sit out the election because you want these people to win? Good luck with that. Check this out.
Critical time to be there is grades 5 through 8 because you want to catch kids when they're starting puberty, because that's the time in which identity formation is central to their lives. However, early intervention is key. So we actually are designing a kindergarten through grade 2 curriculum this summer. And I will tell you, one of the most rewarding experiences, Nikki, we were in a local school system in an elementary school, and we were in grades 3, 4, and 5. And after we were there, 5 students went to the principal's office and came out. So we are really intentionally going into younger and younger grades.
Folks, they have to demoralize you because they know the issues they're running on that they put on a campaign sign or a bumper sticker are total losers. Who the hell in their right, non-insane mind is going to vote for a bunch of LGBTQ2A spirit people, quote, catching your kids to indoctrinate them, to vote for divorcing you from property you own and worked for? Who's going to vote for government-run healthcare when government can't even print a freaking driver's license the right way half the time? They couldn't figure out Safe ID for 10 years. They can't educate a kid in any blue city in America. And you want to turn over your life to these nutbags because some idiot doomer put out a thing, you guys were betrayed. Betrayed on what? What the are you talking about, man? All right, quick break, but folks, whether you stay or not, after 11, do your thing. But I need you to just watch these videos coming up next. It may save your life. I don't do a lot of these. However, as a loyal and loving practitioner of grappling and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Judo, I'm not a tough guy, please. I'm not. This isn't one of those say, look at me, I won't kick your ass. I'm a broken down, rotting sack of meat. My freaking joints don't work. I'm not fighting you. Don't challenge me on the internet. You win. There you go. You got it. We got that on record. You guys you win. I'm not interested. 0. I'm not the tough guy, okay? But I do think you all need to learn how to defend yourselves. And Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is, I'm going to show you a couple videos. I'll show you what I mean. This really could save your life one day. When you get in a gym the first time and start rolling with a guy or a woman, or they all practice jiu-jitsu, you're going to find out how hard it is to fight, even for like 30 seconds. You're going to be like, it's bad. Quick break. Hey, let me tell you about something. When you sign your insurance policy for some brokers, that's the finish line. A handshake, they get their commission, deal's done. Then you probably don't hear from them until it's time for renewal. Well, that's not going to help you because your business runs all year, and so do the gaps and the risks. That's why I'm introducing you to SuperSure. If your company has more than 25 employees, whether you're the owner, CFO, or HR manager, it can be too complex to just buy a policy online. SuperSure is the super agency built for you, licensed in every state for your business insurance and employee benefits, all with year-round support for you and for your team. At supersure.com, you can access tools like the fine print fax tool, which translates your current policy into plain English so you can see what's covered and what's not. Plus a business value calculator so you can estimate what your business is worth and what needs protecting. Go to supersure.com/Bongino, one super agency, one powerful platform, all your policies in one place. That's supersure.com/Bongino. Consult with a licensed insurance producer to discuss coverage options for your specific business needs. Paid for by SuperSure Insurance Agency, LLC, a licensed insurance agency. Thank you, SuperSure. First, I want to play this because this is going around. I don't scroll as much as Haley. Oh, yeah, I've commented. I got to remember that. Thanks for the reminder with that. They do something in a prompter, which we usually don't. I don't read out of a prompter except for like the spots and other things like that. But thank you. You probably saw this rolling around on TikTok. Actor Jonah Hill was in really bad shape, was in The Wolf of Wall Street, was overweight. Good for him. He's in great shape now. He looks pretty good. And really good for him. He started practicing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, but he was being mocked online for talking about He's asked a question, by the way. He doesn't bring this up, by Jason Bateman, another kind of hapless liberal, but they have a popular podcast regardless. He's asked a question about grappling, Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, ground fighting, as it's just affectionately known. And I guess he started practicing a while ago. I see this with a lot of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu new guys. Listen, guilty as charged. You want to tell everyone about it when you win your first grappling match. But he was getting kind of ripped up about this. I'm not that mad about it, but check this out.
I love Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I love, except my body is begging me to not love it. 42 isn't, my wife is often like, you're not going to become like a professional fighter. You know that, right? Like you're a comedian. Like,
but let me ask you something.
Yeah.
If we got into it,
I would fuck you up.
You'd fuck me up, right?
I would fuck all three of you up. Yeah.
Right?
And that's the best part. My favorite thing is people are like, oh, Jonah Hill, fucking fat guy from Superbad. And I'm like, I would fucking annihilate you, dude. I'm not kidding,
every
dude.
fight
Try it. If you see me, try it, dude.
Every fight ends up on the ground.
I can bring it. Who's got it?
I will, unless you are way bigger than me,
I have like a
fucking fuck around and find out.
This is it's a little cringy face. I get it. Forget things, probably a huge libs. Forget the personalities. He's asked a question. I'm not really mad at the dude because I've been there. And again, I'm throwing myself under the bus because I never want this show to appear holier than thou. Like, look at me. I don't ever make mistakes. Believe me, that's not me. I screw up shit every day, okay? I'm just as fallible as anyone else. The microphone does not give you X-Men-like superpowers, okay? It doesn't. When I first started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu back in 1999, actually judo, and then I rolled into it a year later, so about 1999, 2000, I did the same thing. You just want to tell everyone. Because fighting for most guys, some people are just crazy, like this guy Vinny I grew up with. He had no fear of fighting. He just wanted to fight everyone all the time. Everyone has that guy in their neighborhood, a Vinny in their neighborhood. I've mentioned this guy 1,000. He's a real guy, I promise you. He was at my birthday party, my wife's birthday party, 50th. I still talk to him. I grew up with him. This guy fight anyway. He really didn't care. He'd fight 10 guys. I don't know if he didn't feel pain or what, or he just had some kind of, most guys have a fear of fighting. So what happens in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu is it's like you learning to play baseball and one day you get a base hit off Roger Clemens. Like you got to tell the world about it. That's what happens. I don't know how long he's been doing it, so I'm not too mad at him. I did it too. And then you realize you sound like kind of a tool. It's like mentioning your education. Like, hey, man, I tapped a guy. Nobody gives a shit. No one cares. But I want you to watch this clip. Hat tip Fox News. So a little background. If you have a local Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school, just put that term in a search engine anywhere. Put it in AI. Help me find a local Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu school. Go once a week. Go once a month. It's better than nothing. In a year or so, you'll be able to win 99 out of 100 interactions that end badly in violence in the street. I promise. That 1 out of 100 where you meet like Randy Couture, that you'll spend the rest of your life training for that one. But most people have no idea how to fight on the ground at all. So this guy walks into a hospital, you'll see in this Fox clip here, and immediately attacks this guy who works at the hospital. I don't know if he's nurse, doctor, whatever, I have no idea. But you can watch the clip here. Immediately, like he doesn't even know who this guy is. Watch the guy use it. Oh, stop here for a second. Can you stop it? Look, the guy clearly knows jits, right? Jiu-jitsu. Immediately, he puts the guy down, and you'll see like he goes to what they call, there, right there. He goes to what's called side control. That's not an accident. You see him trying to tie up the arms, and he goes, and there, by the way, that's a nice kind of headlock judo throw right there. He goes right to side control. Keep in mind, this guy has no idea he's going to be attacked. It's just instinct. Now he does knee on belly. That's an actual technique. Great, stop. Now he goes for the rear naked choke. The rear naked choke is a carotid choke. It's not a windpipe choke. It will make you pass out if you hold it, but it won't kill you. The overwhelming majority, there are rare instances of that, but people get choked out all the time in jiu-jitsu schools. This is all training. This doctor, nurse, whatever, he has no idea he's about to be attacked. He hasn't thought any of this through. He just has grappled enough. This guy, I don't know if he's a blue belt, purple belt, black belt, but he knows what he's doing. This guy, by the way, is the bad guy here, is geeked up on adrenaline. Who knows if he's drunk or whatever, but he technically should on adrenaline. Here he keeps going. Watch now what he tries to do next. He's got the choke in, and he's trying to secure position. So here he goes, what's called a hook. You see his left leg? He takes his left leg, and he tries to get what's called a hook in. It doesn't work out that great for him, but the guy eventually here starts to like give up. Other people start to come out. That thing he's doing with his left leg is called a hook, where you wrap your leg over the other opponent's leg to kind of control the hips from the bottom. Whoever this guy is, he knows what he's doing. Folks, this could save your life one day. And I don't know what this guy is. I can tell you most blue belts in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu who've been practicing for just about a year or less could probably do this too. And he just does it by instinct. He doesn't have to think about it. And the other guy who thinks, I don't know, whatever, I got my adrenaline going, I'm going to kick this guy's ass, finds out in, how long do you think this video is, 30 seconds? Finds out in 30 seconds or less, wow, fighting's really hard. When you go to these Muay Thai classes and Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and Sambo classes, you realize right away that you grew up watching like Jason Bourne movies, and you're like, hey, if I get excited enough, I can definitely kick someone's ass. You know what I'm saying, Josh? Like, I saw a Chuck Norris movie when I was a kid. It's easy. You just do remember that Ralph Macchio? You do what was that thing called? Whatever. The crane, or it's going to work. None of that shit works, bro. None of it. You're going to get smoked. Jiu-jitsu works because you actually have to do it on the mat. You can't just you go to a class and you shadow boxing. No, you actually fight real people. And you learn right away, wow, that shit didn't work. You get smoked. Remember Mikey? Mikey started Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I wonder if he's probably not, he's running for Congress right now. But Michael Alfonso, who's running for Congress, we had him on the show in Wisconsin. He used to do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu too, I'll tell you. He's a big guy. What is he, 7 feet tall? Yeah, I know he did. He lost 40 pounds. Campaigning does that to you, though. I want to show you one more video that's going to save your life, too. You know the Huffington Post guy, Blanche? Doesn't look like a Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu guy, by the way. Can we put together, Andy, a portfolio of all the media people obsessed with Stewie? Not yet, because we only have 2, but keep them in an evergreen file. We do a villains roster. Folks in the chat, you down with that? We need a villains roster. We definitely need, what was that? The Justice League growing up, and they had the bad guys in the cartoon. We definitely need the Legion of Doom. We need yes. Andy, maybe copyrighted? The Legion of the Damned or something. We have the Legion of the Damned. We need it. We bought these in the chat. Why do they always look like this? I'm going to save you again. When I went into the FBI, unlike Blanche, who thinks the public school system is actually working, I was going to make it work. And one of the things I was worried about was drones, because drones are not the future of warfare. They're the now, and they're also the now of terror attacks. I was terrified about the World Cup, the Super Bowl, and being scared is good because I brought my team in and said, you better do something about it now. So what did you do? We started the first nationwide drone school. We got money to buy brand new equipment. We started, 3 or 4 brand new anti-drone teams. We started doing a tripwire system and collection efforts on people who may be terrorists, who sought, some of these assets. There was a huge nobody will deny that it was in the Bureau. This was me and Cash, basically. It wasn't just me. It was me and Cash saying, hey, we got to fix this problem. Why? Look at this video. This is why. This is really disturbing. Hat tip Fox News on this. Here's what happens when you don't have good sound. You can't fly, folks. That's fairly obvious, right? This is what it looks like when a drone is tracking you down. Why are you stating the obvious? You can't fly. Because when I brought that up to people, they were like, yeah, he's kind of right. It does create a new problem set, because it's not a terrestrial object you can walk up to and disarm or run away from as long as you're faster than the object. You can't touch it, but it can touch you. At some point, I want you to understand this is going to happen here. And it's going to change everything. It's going to change everything. Every time people hear a buzz, they're going to go, we did everything we could, but we're going to need a full-blown effort from our state, local, and territorial partners as well. This is a huge threat. And that's the reason I was freaked out about it. Okay, you know about our contest? We give away $1,776 every week. Why? Why, Jasmine? Because we love the audience. We love unlike Blanche, We give away our own money, not other people's money. I can't. He's going to regret the second he... Keep on writing, brother. Keep on writing. We give away our own money to the audience because we love you. You want to see the rules? Official rules, go to Bongino.com/1776. We pick a comment of the day and one winner every week. The comment of the day, who picked it first? Wait, I can always tell it. Was it Josh again? Okay, all right. Let's see, what do we got? Kim Bubbly in the chat. The chef is an expert at making a word sound. Very Kim Bubbly in the chat. Ring the bell. Ring that bell. That is absolutely correct. Talking about, of course, communist candidate Francesca Hong asked about if she believes Thanksgiving should be canceled. I'm a chef in an endless word salad. You know the word, we've been using it for years. That's what Democrats do, word salads. A bunch of unconnected items to the questions asked. Just throw a lot of words in it to convince people you're telling the story. If you want to know how to join the contest, it's very simple. All you got to do is get in a live chat every day at 10 a.m. and we pick a comment of the day. But you got to join us live. We love people watch on demand. Some of you can't, but it's the 1776 Live Club for a reason. We love having you here. We fill the stadium every day. About 50,000 people join us. Which, by the way, New York Times, Tui Thompson, Josh, said MAGA media is dead. MAGA media is dead. It's crazy. We're filling Yankee Stadium every 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Online. It's not even on like cable news. It's dead, though. It's definitely dead. Sean Ferris Show launching August 17th. Don't miss it. If you want to follow him on all the platforms, Spotify, Apple, Rumble, go to Bongino.com/Sean, SHAWN. It's going to be at 1 p.m. Eastern time starting August 17th. We're super excited. Haley every day. Now, rumble.com/Haley, coming right up. Vince Colonnese every morning at 8 a.m., rumble.com/Vince. That's the Bongino Report Network. We really appreciate your support. I will see you back here tomorrow at 10 a.m.
The news moves fast, but the truth should not get lost in the chaos. I'm Sean Farish, and this is Sean Farish Live. Each episode brings you the biggest political stories of the day, common sense analysis, sharp humor, nobody does a better job, everybody's talking about it, and straightforward conversations about the issues shaping America's future. From Washington to the culture wars, from breaking news to the rising stars in the movement to save our country, we will cover what matters most and why. If you're tired of the spin, the fake news, the phonies and the losers, and you're ready for informed, entertaining commentary that gets straight to the point, you are in the right place. Catch the show live on Rumble weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Time and subscribe anywhere you get your podcasts. I'm so excited to have you along for the ride. Thank you for your attention to this matter.